Hey everyone, welcome back to Eyes on the Ball. This is episode 21. Sheesh! We going higher and higher. We being consistent, kind of. I know it's been like I think 2 weeks since the last episode. Um, Honestly, I kind of wanted to see the series kind of die down a little bit before I guess I wanted to see them more progress more because I think honestly, not that they weren't entertaining, but I do think they were a bit more boring than the first round for sure. As you can see, low key I'm sweating like a bitch. It is 96 fucking degrees where I'm at, bro. So yes, I got the sweat rag, bro. We cleaning myself every conversation, bro. I'm gonna need it because we gonna be talking about some crazy shit, bro. This was I am recording this on the 19th, I think 18th. I think it's the 19th, bro. I'm sorry, bro. 19th. This is after the fucking Spurs versus Thunder game, which was fucking unbelievable. That I cannot wait to get into. But like the title says, this is a conference final prediction. We will be talking about the draft pick that happened as well, or not draft pick, the lottery that happened as well. And yeah. So first things first, let's get right into it. First, we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals. The game is tonight. Um, Before we talk about it, though, Game 7, the Pistons versus Cavs. I cannot believe the Cavs demolished them the way that they did. Honestly, going into it, Tobias Harris was honestly really good, like for the Magic series and even some of the games in the Cavs series. Like he performed a lot better than I thought he would. Just like last year too, honestly. But I think relying on that as your second option just does not work out because he's simply just not the best creator. He's more like a mid-range assassin when he's on, but if he's not lining up from three, he offers no playmaking as well. So again, it was only him and Cade was amazing as well. Obviously, he still has those turnover difficulties, the inefficiency in terms of just shot efficiency, but at the same time, I mean he completely exploded in terms of scoring for like the entire postseason. So you are happy to see that happen. If you're a Pistons fan, regardless, like that's your number one option, and he was great. He's an excellent two-way player as well. So again, like you're very excited to see what continues on for him. Now the elephant in the room is at center's position. Jalen Duren, he was dog shit. He had one good game, which I think was game 6. So his back's against the wall, and they had a decent game. So you did kind of feel motivated going into game 7, but he just stunk it up completely. Um, and obviously the big question mark with him is kind of like the contract coming up. If he is All NBA, it's gonna be hard to kind of juggle his production with Cade's and then try to add in more firepower to the team because obviously the team needs more. They need more shot creation. They need more scoring options. So that's a big issue the Pistons are going to have to deal with in the off season. But if they can work it out, that's an amazing team to look forward to. And they'll be great in the next few seasons that come on. But yeah, they got eliminated game 7. Cavs demolished them. Donovan Mitchell had a great game. Honestly, hats up to him. He played amazing. It was looking iffy for his legacy right then and there, but he had an amazing game. He hit like a half court shot to end the first half, and from there it was like you just knew it was over. He looked too confident taking that bitch, but yeah, great game from him. And yeah, now they're playing the Knicks, who had swept the 76ers, which was again insane. I did not think that they would get swept. I was for certain that they were gonna be like at least 6 games of that series, but they got swept, which is like insane. I did not think that was gonna happen. I honestly thought there was gonna be a game 7 between them. I was surprised. I mean, Knicks just blew them out. Um, yeah, which is like again a huge testament to the Knicks and their offensive firepower. Um, yeah, now it's Knicks versus Cavs for the Eastern Conference Finals. Um, my prediction for them, actually, for that matchup, is Knicks in 6 or Cavs in 7. Knicks are the only team in the playoffs that are top 2 in offensive and defensive rating. I think they have the best net rating in the playoffs as well, like a decent margin. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 net rating points. Um, they look like a complete team the past couple of games, past couple of series. They have completely blown out opponents as well. Um, in the past 10 games, they've had a point differential of 194, which is just like insane. 2 of those games they lost because of CJ McCollum buzzer beater, so they only lost by 1 point. Then they lost another game, I think, to the Hawks by like a decent margin. But every other game was just like complete domination from the Knicks. It's incredible. I don't know how they're producing this much offense. It's insane to look at. I think a lot of it not only is just Brunson's production and Cat's production, and of course Cat has been extremely important for that offense. But again, it's their wing. Their wing creation is just like when that team is just when those teams 3s and 4s are just making the right play, creating their own shots and shooting the lights out. Like that team is just completely different because they're those 2 wings most of the time. Mikal Bridges and OG and Anunoby are just so elite at defending, anyways, to where like they're gonna be able to hold their own on the other end, right? And they're gonna be positives on the defensive end. But what really makes them just like ceiling raisers is just that offense. And when those guys are on their offensive game, it's a different situation. I think OG was injured. I'm pretty sure the last 2 games as well, which is kind of crazy because OG is such a plus player that like you can straight up just add him to that lineup and you know it's gonna like make it easier basically for them. So it is interesting, and it will be interesting to see what'll happen when he comes back against the Cavs, if he does, which I think he will. I think OG will be the X factor for the Knicks. He is extremely good at containing opponents' offensive rebounding at 19.6%. And Cavs have been the best offensive rebounding team in the playoffs so far at 35.6%. I think second was like the Pistons, I think. Could be wrong on that. So yeah, I mean, him being on the court himself is going to influence that possession battle so well. Just being able to stop and prohibit them from being able to get another shot off, which is going to be very important, especially when you consider, you know, Jared Allen in the paint and just how good he is in terms of just being a menace there. Putbacks, Evan Mobley, of course, as well. We're just bouncing it out to D-Mitch, who's probably going to let that bitch fly no matter what. Sam Merrill. James Harden has been kind of okay. I'm still waiting for a game where he like turns it up and D-Mitch isn't. I think it'll happen. If it doesn't happen, it'll be severely disappointing. But I am waiting to see a Harden game because I think it's coming. Donovan Mitchell, like I said earlier, his legacy was kind of fading if they had lost that Game 7 against the Pistons. But what was so interesting about him is like his scoring numbers actually jumped in the Pistons series versus the Raptors, which was interesting. And you can definitely say because the Raptors have better help defense, so they close off lanes a lot better. But I think Asar Thompson, I mean, he was top 3 in DPOY votes. So for him to be on that Pistons team and for him to actually have higher shooting numbers, or at least points per game, and a little bit more efficient as well in terms of true shooting percentage, super interesting to kind of like analyze and see. Against the Raptors, he averaged 23, 3 and 5 on 52.9 true shooting, but then averaged 28, 4 and 6 on 56.3 true shooting against Pistons. So it's interesting because again, Asara I think is one of the better defenders in the league, and you would have thought that he would be better guard defender on D-Mitch as well, but not work out that way. Um, yeah, super interesting to see how that's gonna come out. That season, I mean, that series is gonna be so cool because I think it's a small guard, um, battle, which is gonna be fire as fuck. I'm all for the small guard kind of resurrection. I think, um, as time progresses, like again, like with Wemby or like if you look at the Spurs lineup, they don't have any short motherfuckers on that team, right? All of the guards are big guards. They might not be the best at ball handling, minus Dylan Harper, which I'll get into later. Stephon Castle had 11 turnovers that game. He's a pretty big turnover machine. Same thing with Cade, right? Like the big guards. A lot of these big guards share the same characteristics, and even if they are good at playmaking, they're pretty turnover prone. But a huge benefit is the fact that they're not defensive cones and they're not lacking that defensive kind of structure to them that allows them to have the frame to be a two-way player, right? So, but again, but Brunson and D-Mitch is like they're just all offense, and just trying not to be a burden on defense. But it's gonna be dope as fuck to see them two go head to head. I mean, they're both elite at their position in terms of scoring. They're both like around the same size, so it's gonna be cool as fuck. With the Cavs, which is interesting to think about, especially with the last game that you saw against the Pistons. The Cavs offense, when it's ran through the bigs, is way different. And that's why when Darius Garland was on the team and he was healthy, the offense looked a lot smoother and had a lot more variability, right? Like you didn't just have D-Mitch playing hero ball, which isn't a bad thing either. I think, especially come playoff time, your number one option should be able to produce the way that he does produce, but not being able to create for your teammates and not being able to have them hot when either you are hot or you aren't hot just makes the game harder for you, and just makes the game harder for everybody else on the team on the offensive end of the board. I mean, offensive end of the court. Like, just relying on you having to always make the shot for you to get into the right spot, and the it's not a 1v5, right? It's a 5v5. So being able to have your teammates either create their own shot or put them in the opportunity to create their own shot or put them in the opportunity to score an easy bucket, it makes it not only easier for them, but it makes it easier for you because the defenders don't know what you're going to do, right? So running that offense through the bigs is what is essential for the Cavs, and I think Harden, kind of sucks because had Harden probably played with those bigs a lot more, he could probably replicate what he was doing with Zubac on the Clips, but who knows? Stat that I wanted to show as well. Rim field goal percentage for the lineup of D. Mitch, Jarrett Allen, and Mobley is 72.4. And for that lineup, 48% of their points come from the paint. But the Knicks trio of Towns, OG, and Bridges restrict opponent field goal at the rim to 60%, which is very elite. And so basically what it's saying is that trio in the Knicks is going to be able to is really good at stopping what that Cavs trio usually does. And so again, you can run the offense through the bigs, and I think that's what you need to do anyways with this Knicks team. Just allow the bigs, because I think that these bigs are a lot taller and bigger than the other bigs, like the duo bigs that the Knicks have gone against. Like the Hawks didn't really have any size. The 76ers had Embiid, but of course he was like on and off because of his injuries. So you definitely, if the Knicks can do what they normally do and stop that trio from being able to score in the paint, I do think the Knicks get this. I think they get it either way, honestly. That's why I have Knicks in 6. But again, the Cavs' firepower is just like one of those things where, again, with D-Mitch, where it's like he has the talent to just erupt, right? So you never know. But yeah, like I said, I think this game will definitely be decided through the bigs. Um, the Western Conference Finals, Spurs versus Thunder. So I got Spurs in 5 or Thunder in 6. I understand Spurs in 5 is ambitious as fuck, but they've dominated OKC the entire season. I also wanted to be a little bit spicier with the prediction just because, you don't gotta play safe all the time. But yeah, I think the Spurs, I think it's also just possible. Like, it is, especially after that last night's game. I mean, oh my god, like, we can talk about the game. And we will talk about that game. But before I do, I mean, we're gonna talk about the games that they had before. And they dominated them. They had a point differential of 26 plus in those 5 games that they played against them. And their only loss was a blowout loss. Don't know if Wemby was playing. I could be wrong on that. But they had one loss. They suffered one loss against them. It was a blowout loss to the Thunder. But every other game, I mean, they've destroyed them, cooked them. Spurs also have the best defensive matchups for SGA. They have the length. They have the athleticism to guard him and for them to adjust on his D cells, right? And so, especially with Stephon Castle, I think I have it here. No, I don't. I don't have his stats, but Stephon Castle was one of the better SGA defenders in the league. Like, I think right under Derrick Jones Jr. basically. But of course, again, Wemby being on the court alone is like a huge counter to Shea because Shea does not have a lot of verticality. So it's harder for him to have that floater that you need against giant, like taller defenders, like centers, because he has to rely on his mid range, which means having to stay balanced, and it's harder to do that when you have a player who's like 8'5", just towering over you. And you can say the same for any other defender, but with Shea in particular, it's like he relies on that D cell because he's not athletic. So with Wemby's reach, it's like with the D cell, the whole point is to trying to get that one little open spot, that like one open frame, I guess you could say, where you can't get the shot off. But against Wemby, it's like you can't get the shot off. So you gotta have that athleticism where you're able to be fast enough to create your own frame to shoot over him. And Shea just isn't. Shea doesn't have it. Not only that, but they close their driving lanes really well on Shea. I don't know. I saw a screenshot of it, but Shea was driving up the right side, driving up the right wing. Wemby was playing drop coverage. I think Champagny was basically doubling and closing the gap with Jared McCain on the corner, and he was fucking 10 feet away from Jared McCain, just trying to close that gap. So it was they're playing him hard. They know what they have to do and get the ball out of his hands. And honestly, I mean, that's the game plan against OKC. You gotta dare the other players to beat you, because it's not like the team is great offensively anyways without Shea. So again, obviously AJ is a very great offensive player for that team, and so is Jared McCain, being this flamethrower that he is. Shaq can be decent offensively sometimes. He does have that opportunity to show that upside on the offensive side. But again, Shea is their point generator, right? But another thing, Shea has been horrible since the Lakers series. In the last 5 games, he's averaged 24.4 points, 7.4 assists, 2.4 rebounds on 54.5 true shooting percentage. Horrible on and off splits. He has the worst on and off splits on his team by a wide margin, and it's negative 31.4, which is disgusting. Honestly, it's crazy because Shea has always been a impact demon, right? Even last year, where he's had questionable games or series, he still usually is one of the highest in terms of net rating on the team. But he's been horrible, and it's super interesting. I think something that's always been consistent with his ratings, like defensive and offensive net, is that the net rating usually comes from the gap in offense, right? That he provides to the team. Like usually, like the defensive rating is usually stagnant with him on and off, but or like it barely drops. But the offense is what completely drastically drops every time Shea is off the court. But this ever since the Lakers season, he's been like I don't want to say unplayable, of course not, but he just has not been impacting the game offensively like he used to. Like he's been extremely inefficient. He's just not making. He is getting to his spots. He's just not being able to. He's not being able to basically make them. So, and a lot of it is also him not being able to get to the line to get warm either. So, yeah, you do kind of wonder if he's injured almost. I don't know if he actually is or not. Probably isn't, but who knows? Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. And then on the other hand, for the Spurs, 1B has literally the best on and off at 18.2, which is the best of his team. For this series, I do think AJ and J-Dub will be the X factors. I think AJ is literally just a mini SGA, like producing a lot of offense while suppressing turnovers. The only thing is, and again, I'll speak on it, but when I get like a little bit, but offensively, he has to be able to get to that pull-up 3 and be more efficient with it, because he is not going to be able to get those floater balls like he used to, just because he's a lot shorter. And it's, again, they have an 8-foot demon in the paint. So, and I think J-Dub, on the other hand, even though I know he just came back from a hammy injury, I think, and I said this last year too, I think it was last year, he is so good in the fast break, in the transition, where with his long arms and OKC's just forcing turnovers kind of defense, or churning them out, he is going to generate so many points for that team if they're able to make those turnovers, because he is the best transition scorer on that team, right? Obviously, I think you can probably say Shea is as well, but Shea has been horrible in transition, even last night too. And I'll speak on it. But J-Dub is better in transition, in my opinion, because he has that athleticism, and that speed. So I think J-Dub will be very important as well, and just his two-way ability as well. Because I think, again, he's one of the better defenders on OKC. But yeah, I think those two be the X factor for that series. And for the Spurs, I think Carter defensively, Carter Bryant, and Devin Vassell. I know I say this with Devin Vassell all the time, but he is such a flamethrower kind of guy, right? Like, he'll come out of nowhere, and he might take 5 attempts a game. It'll feel like 10. He might make 2. It'll feel like 8. Like, the guy he is such a flamethrower, and he's gonna shoot the ball. He's gonna want to shoot the ball, and he has such a high release point as well, where it's kind of like damn near unguardable in a way. It's interesting. Like, I like watching him hoop when he's on, but I hate watching him hoop when he's not on, because then it's like nasty as fuck, low key. But again, on both sides of the court, I think he's gonna be extremely important to that team's success, just because we already know that the main 3 of Castle, Wemby, Harper are gonna like generate points, and even Fox when he comes back, because he was injured. But if Vassell is able to shoot like Champagny, and because I think in my opinion, he's one of those players where it's like he's that 3-level scorer kind of player. Like, is he good on the 3 levels? I'm not saying all that, but I am saying like he can score in all 3, and I think what he provides to the team is half-court offense that is essential again to the playoffs. So being able to have a creator who's that height, who's that athletic, who can shoot, is always going to be essential to playoff success. And Carter Bryant is just a defensive monster. We watched him last night defend SGA. Literally only had like one bad a matchup, and which is where Shea got him on the foul bait. But everything else was just incredible from Carter Bryant last night, and him coming off the bench is like insane, because Wemby's gonna be able to come go take a rest, and if Shea's on, I mean, you put this for Carter Bryant and try to, uh, try to make him. Honestly, I would say just have Carter Bryant just 1-on-1 with Shea, so that Shea doesn't try to make an interior pass or a passing to any cuts, and just hope Carter Bryant can be as good as defensive as he was last night, because he was absolutely great. But yeah, like I said, Spurs in 5, Thunder in 6. Now the Glazed last night's game. Oh my God, Wemby had 41 points, 24 rebounds, none of them offensive, 4 stocks, and a 16 plus 16 on off, and a 7-point win, and one of the craziest three pointers ever. I genuinely cannot stop thinking about that 3-pointer. Like, the cojones to do that shit was crazy, insane. Like, that is something like out of like a movie or like a game. Like, for him to do that, down 30 seconds left. Like, I think they're like 20 seconds left in the shot clock. Like, that is baller shit, bro. That was gangster as fuck to tie the game like that. And that was like his only 3-point make of the game, which was insane. Like, and he shot one more in the fourth, I think, which I didn't even like realize, to be honest. So I thought that was his first 3-point attempt, but that's like, again, like insane. Like, what he did that game was like holy shit. He was great on both sides of the floor. He had a bunch of times where he was just like, I almost want to say like where OKC seems to have like figured him out, but then like he just completely turns it on again. Honestly, I thought he was tired as shit. I thought the Spurs were gonna lose because OKC was going like on a fucking on a streak of scoring. I don't know if it was the fourth quarter, at the end of the fourth quarter, or at the end of OT, or what it was, but they were just getting any bucket they wanted. And so I thought it was over for them. I thought the Spurs were like tired as fuck. They end up making it to second OT, and Wemby has like a walk up dunk to the rim, like barely a minute in. He has like the putback or the lob attempt. I think like a floater as well. Like, he was just. I thought he was tired. That motherfucker was far from tired. He was amazing, and so. Yeah, I mean, the 3-point shot dead ass, like I like my jaw dropped, bro. You can't see it, but I was sitting right here, my jaw dropped, bro. I'm telling you, my jaw dropped. And then the block at the end of the game against J-Dub, like, what the fuck was J-Dub doing, dude? Like, why did he even try that shit? I understand, like, going for the quick layup in a close game anyways. Like, they were down by 6. Like, it would have, if he makes it, down by 4. And there's not that much time left anyways. But I get it anyways, like, still doing it. But they needed a 3 more than anything. He goes for the layup and just gets fucking obliterated by 1B, dude. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, 1B was insane. Not only was 1B insane, but Dylan Harper was fucking insane. I was watching him last night. Bro. First of all, shout out Jersey, bro. We got elite hoopers, bitch. We got 3 hoopers in the playoffs, bro. 3. We got D Harp, we got Brunson, and we got Cat. Are you fucking with me? Nah, we up, bro. But anyways, he was incredible. Let me see. He had 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and 7 steals against OKC with only 1 turnover. As a fucking rookie against OKC? Dude, like, what the fuck? He's incredible. Honest to God, when I have a son, he is doing the Dylan Harper like fucking ball handling regime. Like that was incredible what he was doing last night. He has the ball on a fucking string. He was playing Caruso. He was playing Case and Wallace. Do all types of bullshit. There was one play where I think it was in the second OT or something, or maybe the first OT, where he gets an and one on Shea, and Shea kind of like accidentally punches him in the face, and he kind of like lands and puts his hand on his face, kind of like, you know, hurting or whatever, and you could tell that shit pissed him off because I think he came back and tried to do some crazy ass shit on Caruso, and he missed, but it was like that motherfucker was trying to embarrass him. You know, that's that dog energy. Like I said in the previous episode, bro. The playoffs is measured by if you a bitch or not, and that motherfucker ain't no bitch. Holy shit, was he insane? Um, Again, like a rookie being able to do what he was doing was just like nuts. Not only that, but he was so good defensively too, which is not what I expected from him. Like those 7 steals did not come from him like walking into like the ball. Like that came from him reading the passing lane, being able to know where the ball was going to end up at. As I vividly recall like him getting 2 steals like in basically the same exact play, where I think one of the OKC players threw it to the left corner, and he just he reads it. He just reads it and knows it's going to end up there, and he just gets it like instantaneously. Like it's like insane. Like that guy like is an extremely great ball player. He was very inefficient from 3, but he shot like 7. I don't have the exact stats. I think he was like 8 for 20. I think 7. No, he took 8 threes. He was 8 for 20. He made 1 3-point attempt, missed 7. So I think he shot like 7 from 13 from the from the 2-pointers, which was like insane again against OKC. And had the 1-3 again. Shot poor from the 3. You kind of hope that it's not the same in later games, but again, you kind of are okay with it because you have Keldon Johnson, you have Champagne, you have Vassell, just be great 3-point rate players. And they weren't even efficient either. That they were, as a trio, they shot 9 from 26 from 3. But it feels like way more. It feels like they make way more because when they make their shots, they're just loud, especially Vassell and Champagne. Keldon Johnson, like, threes are kind of like, fuck, like, can't believe he made that shit, but he makes that shit. Again, what Carter Bryant was doing was just incredible on Shea. And I mean, like, you know, like, that game was just... Caruso had 8 threes. You could have never paid me to say or think that Caruso would be the leading scorer on OKC, and I think he was the second leading scorer in the game. I'm pretty sure too. I guess. He had 8 threes. The rest of OKC only had 9 threes. They basically dared him to shoot, and he kept on making them, which was kind of scary. But there was 1 3. The last 3 he missed was one where Wemby watched him take that 3, and he missed. And Wemby took the board. And that was like a second OT shot, I think. Could be wrong. But, I mean, it goes to show like that the Spurs had that game plan going in, where, again, they're daring these other players to shoot the threes and beat them by that. Because they're okay they're completely okay with OKC taking the threes, as long as Shea is not scoring, which I completely understand, completely get. Now again, obviously, you know, with Jared McCain being what he is on the 3-point, and AJ Mitchell as well, you are kind of like, there is a certain point where you gotta like cushion that play call, I guess, if that makes sense. Or that scheme, you do kind of want to like relax on it. And, you know, when certain players come out, you kind of gotta learn whether or not you actually want to continue on with that scheme. But regardless, I mean, it worked out in last game, and it was an amazing game. Yeah, OKC played pretty bad too. At least the stars. Shet was disgusting. Shea was bad, but he had a good playmaking game, which is, I mean, at the very minimum, like, you are thankful for that. Like, you see him kind of make an impact offensively without the ball in his hands, but he doesn't really have any gravity on ball or off ball like other players might. But yeah, I mean, it was just a bad Shea game. It objectively was. And I don't think J Dub wasn't too bad, honestly. Um, yeah, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 stocks. Very inefficient at 49.4 true shooting. Um, but I think he had some good looks. He made a 3 to widen their lead, I think, in that first overtime as well. So, like, I wasn't too disappointed in his production, especially because he's coming off an injury. If the injury is still lingering, but yeah, I wasn't too disappointed with his play, to be honest. I don't think you should be if you're an OKC fan. Um, Again, inefficiency is one thing, but I mean, he was probably the second best player on the floor and for OKC last night. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, that was like an incredible game. Like, I can't. I genuinely just like, I don't know. Like, I cannot wait for it tomorrow night. Honestly, Jesus Christ, man. Oh my goodness, it was just so good, man. I was watching. Like, again, like, that might have been the best game I've watched all season. I was on my fucking couch squealing like a pig, bro. I don't get that hype for any other player or matchup in the league. The last time I got that hyped was the John Morant 40 point game against Philly, which was like, what, January, February, maybe. And I think I was honestly more excited for this than I was there because at least they won. But yeah, that was, like I said, it was just incredible. Like, that was like one of the best basketball games I've ever seen in my life. If Wemby can stay healthy, again, that's why I'm thinking like Spurs in 5, because the Spurs don't lose with Wemby on the court anyways. I forgot where it was or who it was. I think Zach in the Verno show. I think Chris mentioned that Zach Lowe said something where, like, the past 37 games are like 34-3 when Wemby plays more than 15 minutes. So it's like, they just don't lose. They don't lose, and so yeah, I'm just extremely excited for tomorrow night game. If the Spurs end up taking both at home or taking both away games, then I'm saying on business with the 5. To be honest, Spurs at 5. But yeah, that's all for the predictions for the conference finals. I'm excited to see the games. The next topic, though, the past 2 weeks, last week, we had the draft lottery. I was very excited again as a Grizzlies fan. I was very excited walking into it because, our future is determined by that. And I mean, with the results, I mean, I'm extremely fucking happy. Extremely happy. Honestly, I look at the results, and I feel like they were like, it's not bad at all. Like, honestly, like, I do feel bad for the Kings because it's like another year of just shittiness for them. Um, but it's like, I mean, everything else, like, everybody else, like, I think everything else is perfect. 1 was Washington Wizards, 2 was the Jazz, 3 was the Grizzlies, 4 was the Bulls, 5 was the Clippers, 6 the Nets, 7 the Kings, 8 the Hawks, 9 the Mavericks, 10 the Bucks, 11 the Warriors, 12 Thunder, 13 Heat, 14 Hornets. Now, with the Pacers, I don't understand the Pacers made that trade where basically if they didn't get top 4, then they didn't get a pick. And so, them not being in the top 4, yes, it blows. It sucks dick. It does. It just does. Especially because I wanted AJ on that team so bad. But I don't think that they were more. I don't think they were bigger losers than the Kings because the Kings don't have anything to look forward to. At the very minimum, the Pacers have that lineup that they are going to have. If Hallie comes back playing the way he was before, they're going to have Hallie, they have Naismith, they're going to have Nemhard, Toppin, and Zubac, right? And that's a pretty good lineup. And Siakam, of course, too. And that's like not making, that's barring any trades that they might make before before the deadline next year. So that team could be a lot better than um what it is right now. And I mean, that's the whole reason they made the trade, right? Like, they have something to look forward to with Zubac. Had they gotten first fourth round, the top four pick, again, it would have been an extremely, extremely fat cherry on top. But you're not. It's not as disappointing, I think, in my opinion, like with the Kings. Again, the Kings were dog shit. They were one of the worst teams in the league. They had one of the worst records, and the Nets as well. But they got laughed by the Clippers, who were like a pretty mid team. They got to the play-in. You know what I mean? So, it's, again, to me, I feel like the Kings and the Nets are bigger losers than anybody else. I'm really excited to see what will happen with this result. What I think is going to happen is, I think from 1 to 3, there might be trades. I don't think anybody is trading up to top 3, and I don't think anybody is trading up to the 4. I think the 4, the Bulls, they pick whoever's left, and it works out for them. Their decision is basically already made, right? Because the top 3 is going to be the top 3, the consensus top 3, which is Darren Peterson, AJ, and Boozer, right? Like, that's going to be the consensus top 3 in terms of, like, whether they get picked in that order or not. That's that top 3. 4 is going to be Caleb Wilson, probably, unless again, like, Caleb goes up to like 2 or whatever, and one of them drops down. But again, the 4, I think the Bulls, a 4th pick, they don't trade at all. Like, they keep their pick. I think 1 to 3, they trade with amongst themselves, probably. And then I think everybody after 4, of course, not including 4, but everybody after 4, I think everybody's on the market. I think all of these teams will try to either trade up. Like, I can see, I think I was saying it last episode, but I can see OKC wanting to trade up. I can see the Bucks wanting to trade up too. I can see them packaging Giannis, sending him to the. Well, I know he wants to play for the East, but they could package him to Atlanta, take their pick. Yeah. Or I can see maybe them trading for the Heat. The Heat's pick, maybe, because I know he was linked to the Heat as well. Who knows? There's also an article that came out today that basically said that Milwaukee is operating as if they're going to have more than one pick in this draft or in that lottery. So I'm assuming they're probably packaging Giannis, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, I think, listen, if we get Cam Boozer, a pair of Edie, as a Grizzlies fan, all this will be worth it. As a Ja fan, obviously, it doesn't mean it's inevitable, which we knew was going to happen anyways, but this is dope to see us finally have some luck, especially in this loaded-ass draft. And with Boozer, again, like, Boozer and E is going to be like an impact, like just the ultimate impact demons. They're going to be like the spreadsheet demons. So I cannot wait to see that happen. There are some rumblings that Boozer might go up, but again, like, we pick at 3, so it's like us being in the top 3 is amazing, because either the only thing that can really happen that could be bad is if, like, Washington and Utah, the 2 teams above us, if they take Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer, so then we're either left with Caleb or AJ. I don't know if I want AJ on my team, not because I don't like him or anything like that. I think he would fit with other teams, but I think we have Caleb, Who I do like Caleb. I think Caleb of Edie is gonna be really good. I think Caleb out of all players here, I think Caleb has the biggest upside. Um, in my opinion, I think Boozer has the highest floor by a country mile. I think Darian Peterson is gonna come into the league and probably just average 20 right off the bat. But they give him the ball enough. I think AJ is gonna be like, I don't want to say he's gonna be like a two-way elite player, but I can see him having like such immense gravity where it's gonna be hard to like not see him be like a second option on the championship team at the minimum. Um, but yeah, like I don't know how what's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be crazy once draft day starts. Probably gonna see a lot of trades go down, whether it's like the same exact day. It might be some trades that go down that don't even happen in the draft or within the draft. Like it might be some trades that happen that just happen because it's trade season, you know. Um, what I am interested in is because of last night and because I think where I think the league is heading. I do see Ademara going into the top 10. Now I don't know who picks him. I think the Hawks could pick him, which would be good for them. The Clippers could pick them as well, which would kind of be crazy, but I would not blame them. I think, especially because they don't have a center anymore. But I can see one of those two teams taking a Daymara, and I say that just because again, like where and the NBA is heading is like the NBA is basically getting to the point where I don't even want to say that it's like we're reaching a new like era that emanates from a certain individual's talent, like Kirby bringing in the 3 point, right? Or Harden bringing in like the crossover, right? And or ISO. I think we're just reaching the point where players are just coming in and they're taller than before and they're agile at that height, right? Wemby is 7'5". We had 7'4", 7'3" players in the league before. None of them moved like Wemby. But Wemby's moving like a guard at that height now. Right? We have these big guards like Stephon Castle, who was only like third year, I think, in the league, or second. No, second year in the league. Damn, second year in the league? Fuck, that's kind of crazy. Second year in the league, and he's amazing because of his height and because of his two-way ability. Right? His height plays a big factor. So, again, I think we're just reaching that point where it's just players are getting taller. And then we need more height, and we need players who are agile at that height. And I think a Daymara might be taken higher than what some mocks have him as, just because he's gonna be able to give teams that opportunity to play against these tall behemoths like Wemby or Shet or even Zach Edey. Because I think if Zach Edey's healthy, I think he's the only other player in the league who can probably stop Wemby, to be honest. And even then, it's like kind of hard because Wemby is, I think, too fast for Edey, but I think Edey's too strong for Wemby. So, but that's all I have for today's episode. Before I do end off, though, I do want to give my condolences to Brandon Clark and his family. When the news dropped, I was speechless. I went to sleep on it. I woke up the next day, made an edit, because it just felt so like raw and unreal to me. And then during the night, I just cried my eyes out. Like I was a fan of Ja and the Grizzlies since they were rookies. Since Ja was a rookie, Brandon Clark was a rookie at the same time that Ja was. So I always had that connection with Brandon Clark as well. I've watched them they've been in the league for 7 years. I've watched them for 7 years of my life. That's basically almost a third of my life that I've watched like him play. It felt like I lost somebody that I knew. And I don't know him. I don't know him at all. But it felt like I lost somebody I knew. And I mean that death hit me hard. Um, I mean, if it teaches you one thing, like, and I hope that everybody knows and everybody learns from that tragic incident is, hold your loved ones and tell them you love them. Hold them close, let them know that they're loved, that they're appreciated, and be there for them when you can. Um, yeah, again, huge condolences to him and to him. Prayers to his family. Um, and yeah, but yeah, that's today's episode. Lies on a Ball. I'll try to have this uploaded by tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.